The Social Screenwriters Podcast. The Social Screenwriters Podcast. The Social Screenwriters Podcast. Where Andy talks to people he met on the internet.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome to episode 51 of the Social Screenwriters Podcast. I'm your host, Andy Compton, and today on the show we have a very special returning guest. Her name is Joya McCrory. Joya is a writer and producer on one of my favorite shows on TV right now, ABBOTT Elementary, led by Quinta Brunson. They're in season 5. They've been nominated for 30 Emmys. They've won 4. They're a great show. If you haven't seen it, I highly recommend it. It's on ABC, but you can catch it on Hulu the next day. Funny, smart, great characters. It's everything you want in a sitcom. Honestly, it's like a breath of fresh air, in my opinion, of what we needed in these dark, weird, dare I say, unprecedented times. Because every day is a new nightmare in this current year of 2025. But yeah, it's a great show, and I highly recommend it. Joya has been there since the beginning. She was hired out of her first Zoom call with the showrunners, and she talks about how her life changed in that moment, and it's just a really cool success story. But also she has very practical tips on being a TV writer and what it's like and being on one of the biggest network shows on the air right now. And yeah, it's great. I love Joya. She's the best. And yeah, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you already know. But if you're just listening, we are on YouTube at Andy Compton on YouTube. You will find my channel, my short films, the podcast, anything that I'm doing. It's up on YouTube. I really would love if you could subscribe and maybe leave a like on the video and any other YouTube shit that helps me out. I really appreciate it. And that's about it, guys. I hope everyone's doing well. I hope your writing is going well. I hope your filmmaking is going well. It's the holiday season. Hollywood is definitely slowing down right now. It is currently December 3rd. And yeah, I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving. And I hope that whatever holiday you celebrate in December, I hope it goes beautifully. And I hope you have a great holiday. And then we'll check back in 2026. And hopefully things will be off to a hot start. And we'll see an even healthier film and TV industry in 2026. That's about it for me, though, guys. I hope that you enjoy this episode with Joya McCrory. All right, Joya McCrory, thank you so much for coming on the show again.
Yeah,
it's been a while.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, yeah. I was looking, and it's been 2.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like March of 2023. So a lot has happened. We are in the greatest year in U.S. history, 2025. I'm just kidding.
Yes.
It's not been great. But, we're surviving. But yeah, it's crazy. We're almost at the end of the year now. And in that time, you guys have been rolling and rolling with ABBOTT, which is so exciting. And it's been incredible. I was actually just catching up today because I've been a little behind. I'll admit that. But I was tuning into the Always Sunny crossover, which holy shit. Like just insane, and two worlds that like I would never think would mix, but also mix so beautifully. And getting to see these characters interacting with each other is like such a joy if you're a fan of both shows. So I was having a blast watching it. But yeah, how have you been in these 2.5 years of working? And also, like, we'll talk about this more, but low key kind of like climbing the ranks a little bit at ABBOTT and getting more and more responsibility over these 2.5 years.
Yeah, things have been great. I am grateful to be working. I know times are hard in the industry. So yeah, very grateful to still be on ABBOTT, and that ABBOTT has been a source of joy for people. And I think it always brings me great comfort when people tell me that ABBOTT is their comfort show. But yeah, I have no complaints.
Yeah, I could see that. It's been such a success, and it's been so cool. Like, because I think when we talked, you had wrapped season 1.
Wow.
I want to say, is that right? March 23. Does that sound about right? I can't remember timeline wise, but I remember it being like very early.
Maybe season 2.
Maybe season 2. Okay. But yeah, it was very early on. And then just like catching up on like your IMDb, you have like, you've kind of like gained more and more responsibility, which I'd love to talk about too. But to get people started, especially those who didn't listen to the first episode, which fair, it's been a long time. But I wanted to just have like a quick refresher. This is a question I usually open with. Joya, how did you get into screenwriting?
Yes, I got into it. I pivoted away from wanting to be a journalist or a novelist during the first little depression that happened once I graduated from college. And I took a screenwriting class at UCLA.
Mhm.
And from there, I interned at various production companies, and eventually I landed in the Warner Brothers Writers Workshop, which was a 6 month program. And then once you finish it, they introduce you to people around the industry, and you get to go on staffing interviews. And I interviewed with Quinta and the executive producers for Abbott, and I was hired on the spot in my Zoom meeting.
That is amazing. I think I forgot that detail. On the spot is crazy.
At that time I didn't know that was not the norm, but yeah, it's
Yeah, that's crazy. Like, I don't know. I guess I could see totally not knowing that that's the norm, but like even like job interviews, like regular ass jobs, like I feel like that's kind of rare. So, did you have any inkling that it could turn out that way as you were entering into that Zoom meeting? That like I'm either going to walk out of here with the job or not.
No, that was my third meeting on a show, and
Okay.
the first one I met I didn't get, and that was a process. And then the second meeting I had the day before my Abbott meeting, and it was kind of such a different experience where it's kind of like the showrunner talking at me for almost an hour, and I'm like, okay, this is how it goes, and I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen. So then this meeting, I really didn't know what to expect, but yeah, it wasn't to get hired on the spot. I thought it would be a whole like a normal job where, it's several interviews you have to do, and, a
Yeah.
background check maybe or something like that. So yeah, that was a total surprise.
Yeah, that's kind of more what I was thinking. So that's like just incredible. That's so cool. I mean, your life changed in and out of a Zoom call.
It did.
And then yeah, here you are years later and it's still working out, which is just so cool because also in this day and age in television, TV can be hard. It can be hard for shows to stick around. And I'm so happy that Abbott has been one of them that has stuck around and been super successful too. It was the perfect show we needed at a dark time. And I think it's just been really helpful. Like you said, I'm sure tons of people tell you that this is a comfort show for them because it is for me big time. It's like you can really just tune out all the noise of this world and just have fun with Abbott for a little bit. Um, but that said, yeah, I'm just so happy that Abbott has endured. Um, okay, cool. And then also just for people listening early in the episode to get a feel for who you are as a writer. And I don't think I asked you this the first time around. This is a new question. It's a really deep question. It's not at all. What are 3 films or TV shows that have influenced you as a screenwriter?
For TV, I might cheat a bit. So there's 2 sets. So for TV, I would say New Girl was very influential because
yeah.
I kind of got into TV writing after wanting to write movies for so long. So
Yep.
it was kind of like, so New Girl was very influential.
Yeah, I love New Girl.
Yeah, happy endings because I just love that rapid comedy that they created.
Yeah.
Insecure is very influential. And I think if I move my big head, I put them all on my wall. This is my wall at Warner Brothers.
Every one of these shows.
It goes up. So,
damn.
I don't know what's happening, but
oh shit, it's zooming in. I thought you were doing that. I was like, that's cool that she's doing that for us. That's so weird. Yeah, all right, we'll adjust it. We can fix it. That's weird that it did that. Was that Zoom or was that your computer?
That's Zoom. There's always some stuff. Oh, it's auto framing. Okay.
There we go. Okay, interesting. That was an adventure. Yeah. Oh, I love seeing Recess too. That's underrated. Living Single. Let's see. Fresh Prince, one of the greatest shows of all time. Master of None, I loved. Yeah, I mean every show up there is great. Yep. Is that Nathan for you? Second. Yep. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Love it. Love it. 30 Rock, incredible. Yeah. Okay, cool. And then you mentioned wanting to be a film writer for a long time. How long were you trying to write movies before switching into TV?
Yeah, when I originally came out and studied at UCLA, it was for feature films. And so I was focused on that. I think it took 10 years for me to get to this point. I probably focused on movies for like 7 to 8 years. So I think it wasn't until 1 year I had realized I hadn't written much of anything. And so I'm like, let me see what I could throw together before the end of the year. And I like, let me try a TV pilot. And I wrote it, and it ended up being like way better and well received than any of my movies I had attempted to write. So I'm like,
Sure.
oh,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
maybe it's time to pivot. So
Yeah. It
yeah,
was an original pilot.
it was.
Nice. Nice. Yeah. That's cool. What was it called? Can I ask
It
details?
it was called Fuck My Life, or FML, and
Okay. Love it.
it's basically about this kid in high school who was a loser and wanted to spend his last year in high school like having fun for once. Very like book smart. Before book smart, I realized book smart was a thing, but
Yeah.
I've read it. I've gone back to read it, and I still actually really like it. I actually really like all the old things I've written. So
Nice. Nice. I love that. And then, have you written any, did you write any TV specs around that time too?
no, I waited
Mhm.
until the last possible moment to ever write a spec. So the very first
Yeah.
spec I wrote was my Schitt's Creek spec that I wrote to get into the fellowship. So that was my very first spec. So I just
Yeah.
got lucky.
Nice. Yeah. It must have gone well too to get you in. Did you have to submit like a spec and an original pilot, maybe?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That sounds right. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I'm not a TV writer. I've written one pilot, but I did in college write a Family Guy spec.
Mm.
And I cheated though. This is how much of a feature writer I am. So I took a half-hour writing class and an hour drama writing class. And
Oh.
so the half hour, I was like, I'll do Family Guy. I love the rapid fire jokes and cutaways and shit. So I had a lot of fun with that. But then for the hour long, I am such a feature writer that I was like, can I do Black Mirror? And my teacher was like, yeah, I guess so. And that's totally cheating because everyone is like its own story and it's just like a
Yeah.
mini feature basically. So I did a Black Mirror spec as well. So that's my whole TV career, which probably won't go any further than it has. I would love to do TV at some point, but I am just such a movie writer, movie person, that I think I'm just in that world. I'm stuck there, but I'm happily stuck though. I love movies. Um, Cool. And then do you have like any films that you could go to thinking about?
That one's tougher. I think just off the top of my head, Forgetting Sarah Marshall was
Oh,
one. And
amazing.
then I script wise, not even movies, because one of these has not been made into a movie, but Brian Duffield's Your Bridesmaid is a Bitch is a screenplay that I read
Oh,
very early on in my career and when I
yeah.
was interning. And I'm like, I love this. I love his style of writing. And
Yeah.
then Burt B. Royal's Easy A script.
Oh,
Amazing.
yeah. The Emma Stone movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Such a good movie. I actually, one of the guests on the podcast, Nikki Weinstock, who I'm trying to do a movie with now, but he produced Forgetting Sarah Marshall. And I always think that's so cool because that was such a big movie for me too. I love that movie.
Yeah,
Um,
I went to Hawaii specifically to stay at that same hotel a couple of years ago.
no way. Oh, that's
Yeah,
so cool. Did you go around like to where where all the locations were
a little bit.
within the
They
hotel?
told me it's been renovated, so it's hard to see. It's not quite the same, but I'm like, okay, I get the feeling of that they probably
Yeah.
had when they were here.
Oh, I hate that. I hate when that happens, though. Have you seen the Florida Project, the
Yes.
movie?
Hmm.
Apparently they painted that purple hotel and it's no longer purple, and that's like the magic of it. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I would love to go see it, but it wouldn't hit the same at all.
Yeah. Probably the dozens of people making the commute just to see that hotel from the movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, totally. I know people who like live in an iconic house like the Nightmare on Elm Street house or like whatever. I feel bad for them, but you knew what you were getting into,
Yeah.
so fuck off. But you hear those stories about them like losing their minds on people going there and taking photos, and it's like, don't buy a famous house, maybe, I don't
Yeah.
know, or put up a big fence. Okay, cool. So then getting into the Abbott room, so you do a Zoom. You're coming out of the writers program. You do a Zoom, and it was with the showrunners and Quinta.
Yeah, Quinta is one of the showrunners. So it's Quinta and our
Yeah,
other two showrunners, Justin Halpern and Patrick Schumacher.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah,
Who
so it's
are
just three of
big
them.
names in TV comedy prior to this,
Yeah.
correct? Yeah, like monster names. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. And then so they tell you coming out like, hey, this is a fit. This is gonna work. So you got the job. How long is it from getting off that Zoom call until things are kind of starting?
Yeah, I was working full time at Paramount in HR at that time. So once I got off the Zoom call, I pretty much the next day, I think that whole day I was kind of like in a daze, like, am I dreaming? Like, am I going to wake up and, this meeting never happened? But I
Yeah.
pretty much had to put my 2 weeks in immediately. And
Mhm.
then the room started 2 weeks pretty much after that call. So
Wow.
quick change.
Yeah, gosh, that's so inspiring too. I think to people like myself, but people listening to this podcast who want to write TV or movies or anything really, how quick it can happen. Because we all think like, what would life look like if this does happen? The big break, as we refer to it. And that's just so cool to hear that it's like within a month, everything changed, and now your life is what it is now, which I'm sure is a lot cooler in many ways than what you were doing before. It's just like, I can't believe I get to do this and they're paying me.
Yeah, I feel that way every day still, even on season 5. Like my episode aired last night and I'm just like,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah. And how many episodes have you had now that were you're written by?
I think I'm on 7. That was 7. Yeah.
That was 7. Yeah, I think, yeah, that sounds right. Cause I think I saw 6 on your IMDb, but obviously it was before last night.
Hmm.
Cool. Congrats. That's awesome to have one just last night up too. That's so cool.
Thank you.
So the next day, are you looking at Twitter and like keyword Abbott Elementary and just seeing what people thought?
I do. I'm not on Twitter so much these days, but yeah,
Yeah.
yesterday I checked to see like what the live reactions were, but
Yeah.
luckily nothing too bad that I saw, but I'm
Yeah.
sure with Twitter everything turns bad eventually.
Yeah, especially now. Yeah, it's way different now. It sucks for sure. But like I will say it's still cool for it's not as good as it used to be, but for live reactions to shows. Because remember how awesome that used to be like on like a Sunday night when the biggest Game of Thrones, whatever you want to
Yeah.
watch, but it was just everyone talking about it and it was kind of a thing you can't get on Twitter until you've watched it because it's going to get spoiled. But
Yeah.
but yeah, that it used to be so cool for that. I think there's still some of that, right? I mean, you would know from checking in after an episode
It's
airs.
not really the same. I really think Game of Thrones probably the last appointment TV that we had. I think the majority of
Yeah,
our audience is from Hulu, so people are watching the next day or they're watching on their own time. So like, yeah,
that's
I'm
true.
not really going to get those immediate reactions from most people, but
Yeah,
I do
that's
miss
super
those
true.
days.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, the landscape has changed too. Um, yeah, but that's cool. That's so exciting. Okay, so then you're on season 5 at this point. What are some lessons that you've learned in the past, I guess, 5 years, right? Uh, Working on Abbott, are there any like big aha moments that you can think of where things just started to click and you're like, oh, that's what being a writer at this level on a show like this is? And you can take that anywhere you want to, but yeah, are there any like big moments that you look back to like, oh shit, that was definitely a growth moment there?
I think overall, one of the lessons I learned pretty quickly, I think for myself and many writers, when you're first starting off, the dream is to have your own show. And I think
Yeah.
getting to see firsthand how hard it is and how much work it is, I'm like,
Mm.
okay, I absolutely do not want my own show for quite some time. Like even now, I'm just like, oh, and we have 3 showrunners who are handling the responsibility. Most people only have one. So it's a time consuming, life draining job that people
Yes.
all think they want. And like, you actually do not want that. I mean, you just,
Yeah.
my core principle now is just like, I don't want to have my own show unless it's a dream or an idea that I know that can consume my life and I won't be too sad about it, but like
Yeah.
that's the reality.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's
That good.
no, yeah, it's a hard job to have.
Yeah. Oh, I 100% believe it. And yeah, you're right. That is so crazy that you guys have 3 showrunners and that many shows are one. And yeah, just I'm sure that's so much to handle, especially on like a network show and talking to the network people all the time. And like just everything falls on your shoulders. But that's interesting because I can't remember if we talked about this on your last episode, but you might have mentioned like that being in the cards, hopefully someday. And to now see that it's like shit, now that I see it unfolding and what it really consists of, that I hear you. It's got to be something that you're so in love with and so willing to let consume your entire life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing people don't fully understand until you're in it. So I try to caution new writers, like, okay, like you think you want your own show, but like truly, you just have no clue.
Yeah. Yeah, especially for Quinta too, because she worked in TV before this.
She had sold some pilots and she's been acting in some shows, but this is kind of her first, I think, one that actually went. And
Yeah. Okay, so she was still relatively new enough that taking on show running was like quite a huge step, I'm sure. Like, and she just seems like a fucking super talent that just can take it on and succeed. But yeah, that must have been. I just feel like that's a big jump for her at the time too, because I didn't. I can see that she was acting before this. She's so good, but like I knew more about her like doing like improv and sketch and things like that. The training grounds for many of these people, the Amy Poehler's and Tina Fey's of the world who go on SNL and stuff, but who also Quinta would have been amazing on SNL. But like she just seems like that kind of person. But yeah, it's just geez, I can see how it's maybe more than you bargained for once you're in there doing it. I think being a director is similar in film. Show running though, it's these aren't just 2 hour movies. These are 10, 12, 14 hour seasons, which is just a lot. But okay, cool. So we're gonna get into the weeds a little bit, and I'm gonna talk about how I saw on your IMDb that with every season you've been taking on what seems to be a little bit more responsibility. So on season 1, your title was staff writer. And correct me if I'm wrong on any of this.
okay.
Season 2, you were a writer plus a story editor. Season 3, a writer plus an executive story editor. Season 4, a writer plus a co-producer. And on season 5, a writer plus a producer. Is that all accurate?
Yes,
That's the journey.
That's the journey. That is how things are supposed to work.
Yeah.
They,
Yeah.
it's because I'm on Abbott is a network TV show, and we have 22 episodes usually every season. We have the span to get promoted every season. I think that's become less of a common thing because of streaming and the shorter season orders.
Yeah.
And it's not really, when I say promoted, it's in title, really in title and pays to a certain extent, but my duties haven't really changed. It's still just like, I think there's 7 or 8 levels of being a writer. And so you just make your way up the ranks because our showrunners really have, since day one, have empowered us to be contributor to the show at whatever level you are. The things I do as a producer haven't changed that much of what I've done as a staff writer in season 1. Like we all get to go on set to produce our own episodes, but now in season 5, I just have more confidence to do those things, and I don't have to have as much help so in season 1, Patrick would be on set. One of our EPs will be on set with us to like help us out. But now, like last episode, I didn't see him at all. It's just me and the director hanging out and producing the episode. And like you just get to weigh in more, I think, with casting and other, like we were in all the pre-production meetings and just have more confidence, and because I have more experience now. But
yeah,
it changes. Every show is different. I've heard people who, as they rise, they just get assigned to doing one thing within the production, and that's kind of their area of expertise. But we just kind of spread it all out so that we can learn. Everyone has the ability to learn and one day go create their own show. And I think, we're all adults, so, just doing our job.
Yeah. God, I love that. And like you said, that is how it's supposed to function. It seems to be historically how being a staff writer used to be. And I love that they're doing exactly that. They're giving you the tools to maybe go and do your own show one day. Like you'll be familiar with the ins and outs at the very least, even if you haven't run a show yet. And yeah, with streaming too, I guess we're seeing more and more, like you said, smaller orders of episodes. But there seems to be shows now where it's just one writer, right? The showrunner is the writer of all episodes, and which, from a creative control aspect, cool. That's cool. But for people getting jobs in an industry where this is supposed to be like able to put food on your table for people in this profession, that sucks.
Hey, I would argue that even from a creative perspective, it's not good because you're only one person. The shows that have been created by one person could still be better, even if they are good. They could be even better if you had different perspectives. But hey, what do I know?
Agreed. Agreed. No, 100%. Yeah. I mean, you just see that from getting notes on your screenplay of being like, oh, that's a blind spot of mine that I don't see. And that person saw it. Thank God. And now I can make my script better. I totally agree. It's like, but it's almost like that form of show running is like an auteur in film. And it's like just kind of a different thing. But I won't make you shit talk any showrunners or shows. And I won't either. I probably shouldn't. So we'll keep it moving. But so what are conversations like with that too for you at Abbott? Has it just been like with every season they're like, hey, we want you to do this, or did you ever have to like ask?
It's built into our contracts. We have
Oh,
3-year
amazing.
contracts every year. So when I first
Yeah.
signed, it's just like if we get another season, this is what your level should be. And
Yeah.
then it's up to the showrunners to, I mean, they can't, it's an option too, because like you probably have heard stories of people having to repeat levels and things like that,
Yeah.
which not great. And it's usually up to the showrunner or the finances. But
Mhm.
with Abbott, I think no one has had to repeat levels. And then we are a show that has promoted our assistants to staff writing positions. At this point, I think we have 4 people who have been promoted from assisting to now being
Oh.
writers on the show. In this season, our script coordinator has just wrote her first script, and
Mhm.
so it's not too much conversation with this show. And Abbott has been a dream and a model, I hope, for other shows and how it should be done.
Yeah, I love that. So for like a writer's assistant, is it in their contract as well? That like
Nope.
you okay, cool. So
Yeah,
that is something that's still like, we like you, we think you're smart. Let's try this.
yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, I love that. And like, yeah, you guys, I mean, being a network show, not just a network show, but a successful one at that, it does seem like if any show should be kind of like setting the blueprint right now for how to bring that type of, I don't know, ethical show running back into TV. It's very cool that you guys get to do it. Cause I think like, I remember when I saw the first trailer, I was like, oh man, I'm not even someone at that time in my life, at least. I've had phases where I'm a big TV guy and then I kind of fade out on more movies. And at that time, I feel like I was more movies. I was in film school. I was making short films and stuff. So I was really movie focused at the time. But I remember seeing that trailer and being like, oh man, this is my shit 100% because I love kind of like smaller story, smaller town, which I know it's Philly, but like it feels like a small world of
Mhm.
these working class people doing what they can and getting by and having highs and lows and successes and failures. It felt really human, but also looked super funny. So I was like, oh man, this is my shit. This looks like a good like dramedy movie or like a good comedy that's just humans being humans. That's my shit. And so I tuned in and I remember like right off the bat being like, oh, this is going to be the next Office. This is going to be the next Parks and Rec or 30 Rock. Just like incredible how you guys hit the ground running and just have not stopped. And um, I guess I'll let that lead into, like I said, the Always Sunny crossover is something that's like extremely rare. I think I'm trying to think of like the TV we grew up with in like the 90s, like the TGIF days. Wasn't there like a Family Matters crossover with some? I know there's that famous clip where in the Family Matters living room, Carl is saying something and Uncle Phil shows up in the doorway. Have you ever seen this clip?
Yeah, it used to be a very common thing, and I think
Yeah.
with the amount of episodes we've had, we've been able to incorporate old tropes that they used to have. And Quinta is at this point, like a historian of TV.
That sounds
she
right.
she watches everything. I don't know
Yeah.
when she gets the time, but
Yeah.
that is something she wanted to happen, and then she made it happen. But I think that crossover is bringing back old actors from our favorite sitcoms that we've had in the show. It's just we tried to do something else. It hasn't worked out yet. That is kind of a throwback to the shows of the 90s, but hopefully at some point we can make it happen.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that. That's so exciting. So this was Quinta's idea to bring Always Sunny into the show.
Yeah, I think she had run into the Always Sunny guys
Mhm.
somewhere, and then they were
Mhm.
like, "Hey, this is a thing that should happen," and so
Yeah. Two Philly
it came
shows, like
together.
why not?
Yeah.
It's so crazy because like it does make sense, the idea, but it also is so like it just doesn't seem like it would ever be a thing that would happen. Two very different shows, both comedies, but like Always Sunny is just a different kind of thing. It seems like, and but yeah, it works immediately, and getting to see these characters in the Abbott world in front of children and being like just holding your breath, like, oh my God, is Frank talking right now in front of a classroom? Just so smart and so cool. I can't believe that she made that happen. How did it come to you guys? Like, was it an idea that was pitched before she got the green light to do it?
Um, I think once we came back for season 4, we were just like, she told us that we were going to make this happen. And I think there was some concern from the network side because they are on FX, they are a rated MA show. And you're just like, how could we make this happen?
Yeah.
And when Quinta wants something to happen, she will make it happen. So those
Yeah.
concerns eventually fell away.
Yeah.
And so once we kind of got like, we're going to do it, we, Rob and Charlie came into our room for one day and we all just like came up with some ideas and like they're on season 17, I think,
Yeah.
which,
Sounds right. Yeah.
which so at this point, it seems like every idea we're like, we should do this. Like we've done that. I'm like, they have done everything because they're on season 17, but
Yeah.
we were eventually able to come up with a story. And I think our crossover is interesting because, there's the Abbott perspective, and then on their side, there's what happened kind of behind the camera. So that was kind of a unique twist to it that people seem to love.
Yeah.
I had never seen Always Sunny until Quinta came in and told us that this was happening.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
it's a show
Yeah.
that missed me, but
Yeah.
I asked everyone, I polled everyone to see what their favorite episodes was. So I caught up and watched it so I could like, okay, I get the feeling of what the show is supposed to be.
Yeah. I was gonna say 17 seasons in, it's like how do you even attempt to get familiar? It's like because the show, in my opinion, too, has changed a lot from season 1 to where we're at now. But that's cool, and I'm assuming they were probably super cool to work with. They seem like good people too, outside of it, like nice, funny dude. Like Charlie Day seems like such a nice, funny dude from interviews and stuff. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, I went down to set one day and I really just wanted to meet Danny DeVito because I used to be obsessed with twins growing up. I used to watch that as a kid, like
Oh
over and over
yeah.
again.
Oh
So I
yeah.
was like,
Yeah.
oh, so that was the best part of the whole the situation for me, getting to meet Danny DeVito from Twins and tell him I love twins.
Yeah, oh, that's so cool. He seems like such a good dude too. And yeah, gosh, I didn't even think about that aspect of meeting fucking Danny DeVito, who is just like his filmography is crazy. I can't believe they got him on Always Sunny. I've heard them tell the story about it and being like just shocked that it worked out, that they got fucking Danny DeVito. But okay, cool. So then back to Abbott a little more. This is just kind of a question I added in, I didn't tell you about before, but do you have a favorite character to write for, and why is it Ava?
It is Ava.
Is
I
it?
think it is.
Yeah, I can see it. She would be a blast to write for.
Janelle James is so talented that
Yeah.
any lines that we feed her, she sells it so well. Because I think early on there was just like a one line. It wasn't even a joke. It was just something like pears or something. And the way she said it just had everyone dying laughing.
Yes.
Um, I think Ava has a little bit of a mean streak in a way, but like I also have a very smart mouth, so I'm able to like funnel those insults and mean jokes that I can't say to people in real life, but Ava can say them to Janine, and it's funny. So
Absolutely. Yeah. I say shit through my characters all the time that, like, yeah, you don't say in the real world, but it's fun to say it through movies and TV. Um, cool. And then, like, do you have any advice? I guess I'm trying to keep the aspiring and people who are very close, TV writers in mind. Do you have tips for like writing to characters' voices that you didn't necessarily come up with to begin with? Like, are there any? Because I would imagine, like, you think of one defining trait of that person and you try to always keep that in mind when you're writing from their voice, but then characters grow. a little bit. Do you have any advice for writing characters?
Hmm. That's an interesting one because that's probably like the one strength I had coming in. And I think it's
Hmm.
because I just have a good ear for dialogue and like in
Yep.
listening to people. And then I think I'm such an insular person that I can repeat these conversations in my head and I hear the different ways that they speak.
Yeah,
But I
it's
think
a
with the writing,
superpower.
yeah, with
Yeah.
the writing, I realize it's being in a writers group where they have table reads, it's always
Yeah.
good to hear them read out loud, and that is super helpful.
Hmm.
If you don't have those, I used to when it's just me in my studio apartment, reading stuff out loud was
Hmm.
helpful. And
Hmm.
I think people one thing I always used to push back against is that people are like, none of your characters should sound the same. But I also think in real life, when you hang out with people, you all do kind of start to sound the same. So I
Yeah.
always like take that with a grain of salt because there are words I say that I didn't say until I met someone, and now that is now part of my vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
So I think that is kind of the like real life versus REEL life, where it's like every character is going to sound so distinct that you immediately know who said what.
Yeah.
But I think keeping attitudes in mind, like we have such a variety of characters on Abbott, and I think if it's like something social justice related,
Hmm.
Mr. Johnson is not going to be the character who's talking about, the election. And it's very
Yeah. Yeah.
clear. So I think knowing who your characters are is the most important part. And then it's easy to come up with that dialogue that fits only that character.
Yes. Yeah. That's a good point. And I love you said that about characters can't all sound the same. They can. It depends on what like circle you're running in. I had a old feature that was about like this group of like 15, 16-year-old skateboarders, a little bit based on the way I grew up. And that was a note I got back a few times. And, there was some truth to it for sure. But I'm thinking about it, and like me and my friends, like we just called everything tight. Everything's tight. That's tight. Oh, that video was tight. Oh, that movie's tight. I love that song. It's tight. And like, I mean, that's how boring Missouri teenagers were, I guess, at least me and my buddies. And yeah, you do. You just talk the same when you're in like the same type of I don't know, subculture, like a niche subculture. If you're in like a punk rock circle, you're gonna talk like the punk kids talk. And if you're a CEO, you're going to talk how other CEOs talk whenever they get on their evil corporate Zooms or whatever they do. I don't know. There's no CEOs listening to this podcast. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. And that's such a cool note to throw out there. And then, yeah, keeping in mind attitudes. I think things get way easier when you have an actor to put in your brain. Um, Sometimes I don't know if you've ever done this, especially in like your old feature writing, but I select a famous actor right off the bat that I'm going to kind of write to. And it's not that I want to give them the movie. I would love to a lot of the time, but it's like just having that in mind, I think
Hmm.
helps so much.
Yeah, same. That's
Yeah.
probably step two after I come up with the idea. I'm like casting and spending all this time trying to, but then it is easier to read it now in their voice because you know how they sound.
Yes, yeah, 100%. And then do you do any silly acting at the desk? Because I do a lot of it where you're reading your shit back to yourself out loud and you're like, yeah, I don't even realize I'm doing it. And then I'm like, oh, I'm doing like a whole like this is a one man show right now. This is incredible.
Yeah, I think I'm happy that I live alone because otherwise it's just like, what are you doing in there? Like, what's happening?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I know we're all psychos in this business. Um, okay, cool. And then have you been able to do any other writing since joining the show, or has your focus been solely on Abbott? I know you guys take breaks, but I'm sure breaks are at that point meant to be a break. So,
Yeah.
have you done any other writing or any other like, working on an original pilot idea or anything like that?
Yeah, I wrote a movie. I forced myself to write a draft of a movie
Yeah.
over last year.
Hmm.
And I think, yeah, I've been trying to push myself to do more outside writing outside of Abbott because
Yeah.
it can be all consuming. But I think just trying to look ahead once Abbott comes to an end, what my career will be. So I've written a
Hmm.
movie that I need to rewrite because it's not very good right now.
Hmm.
And then I'm in the outline stage of my own pilot in hopes that it will be something that I am in love with because it's focused on my hometown of Detroit. And like maybe, we'll see what happens with that. But
Yeah.
just taking the next steps, trying to prepare myself.
Yeah, sick. I forgot you're from Detroit. I was born in Michigan, in
Oh,
Lansing. I think we talked about that. But
okay.
I was only there for 1 year. I was a baby. I don't remember much.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's cool. Do you like Detroiters? Have you watched that?
I have. I haven't fully watched it. It's a little too silly for me at times.
Yeah.
But I think it's someone once asked me, like, what is your favorite media depiction of Detroit? And it
Uh,
might be Detroiters because every other show or movie about Detroit is about how it's like a dangerous hellhole. So
yeah,
I'm like,
it's a
okay,
slum.
Detroiters
Yeah.
very positive.
I was gonna say my only frame of reference, I think, was 8 Mile. And yeah, 8 Mile doesn't paint a positive picture at all.
Yeah, we're not really all engaged in rap battles every weekend or anything like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's all Detroit does. Yeah, I guess, well, honestly, St. Louis just doesn't have much of a film representation at all, but it could be that because, like, it's weird. Statistically, St. Louis often ranks as like number one in like violent crime, and it's per capita. But it's to me, it's no different than any other major city. I mean, yeah, just have your wits about you and stuff when you're in the but like very often I'm walking without a care in the world through St. Louis and it's fine and people are nice and everything's cool. So I don't know. It's weird how things can be portrayed and then when you're living it, you're like, I don't see that. I don't know. That's weird. So I get it. But no, that's exciting. And I love to hear that you're writing a feature. I didn't know if you had like turned your movie dreams off for a little while because you were obviously so successful on TV right now. It's working, so keep it going. But I love that you haven't shut that door and you're writing a movie.
We'll see. My manager and agents might be like, you know what, focus on TV.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Yeah.
the dream is to be able to do both.
I love that. Yeah. I mean, why not? Why not? That's awesome. Cool. And then so I think I asked you this last time, but now there's a bigger body of work. Of the scripts that you've written, which is your favorite and why?
Um, I my go-to used to be the very first one I wrote because that's very special. But
Mhm.
I think last season I got to write one of our holiday episodes, which is the winter show episode. And
Yeah.
going into it, I just felt so not prepared to write that one because it focuses on Melissa's family. It's kind of like our whitest episode that we've ever written. And I'm like, well, I don't know a lot about Italian Christmas dinners.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to get this right, and everyone is going to be like, oh, this is awful and
That's
terrible.
scary. Yeah. Yeah.
But it came out, and it's people really responded to it in a way that I was not expecting. And I'm like, okay, I guess I met the moment, and I'm
Yeah.
glad that it's in our holiday classics.
Yeah, I love that. I hear that it would be intimidating writing about a culture that you're not super familiar with, especially Italians. I mean, that's very specific. But thinking about her family specifically is super fun, I'm sure, just to imagine what that looks like.
Yeah, we had Talia Shire who played her mother,
Mhm.
from Rocky fame, and so it's just like we just had so much fun on set that day, and just like
Yeah.
this is just taking it all in. I'm like, wow, it's amazing that I get to be a part of it, and
Yeah.
yeah.
You were a producer on that episode?
Or I was a co. I don't know. It gets weird. We all produce our episodes. Are you allowed to call yourself a producer of whatever? But yes, I was on set all week. I produced it as a
Yeah, I
co.
mean that sounds like producing to me, so that's
Yeah.
cool. And then I'm gonna backtrack a little bit. I'm an idiot. I should have gotten this out earlier. But what does your week usually look like being a staff writer on a successful network show like Abbott? Like, what are the hours and kind of like what's an average day look like?
Yeah, I'll preface this that Abbott's hours are not normal.
Okay,
So don't expect that to be the case if you're staffed on a show, but
got it.
we start our day at 10 a.m. and
Hmm.
usually like chit chat for about 30 minutes and then take a potty break and then come
Hmm.
back at like 10:45 and then we get some work done and then
Yep.
we break for lunch at noon. We have an hour and a half lunch, come back at 1:30, chit chat some more, then get work done for about 2 to 3:30 and then we're
Yeah.
done for the day. Um,
Yeah.
but our days always look different. I think I talked to you or emailed you because I wasn't sure I would be able to do this today, because now sometimes at lunch we write our outline scenes. We all participate in writing the outline, or
Sure.
I might have pre-production meetings going on at lunch. So it varies. Yeah. It's a good job for, I used to be like, I want a job where I don't know what I'm doing every single day. And
Yeah.
I have that. So
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I think that's a thing with creatives too, because like even for me, I was working a warehouse job. I used to work quite a few warehouse jobs, and whenever I started like being like screenwriting is the thing I want to do, that job got more and more insufferable the more I was allowing myself to be the creative that, like, to be corny, I think I was like born to be. I think like a lot of us are, and sometimes you can suppress that unknowingly, and you're just like, I got to go get a job like everyone else and, be a part of society, and that's it. But then once I started opening that door of like, oh, I am a creative person and that is what I should pursue, that job got more and more insufferable. And just making a switch from a warehouse where I was like picking items to be put in shipping boxes and doing that every fucking day for 8, 9 hours a day. Just making the switch to going back to being a restaurant server. You're doing the same thing every day, but there is variation. You're not getting all the same customers all the time. There's going to be different orders and different combinations of things that they want. Even just that was enough stimulation for me. And now I couldn't be more happy with, like, the path that potentially I'm going to go down in the life that you're living right now is like, yeah, a job that every day is something different. And, and for you right now, like season 4 done. So proud of the work we did. We're on to season 5 and this is a new thing. And it's like, yeah, the same characters, but it's new every day. I love that. And it's affirming to hear other creative people talk like that. Cause I used to wonder, is there something wrong with me? Like, am I just never going to be able to be like a functioning member of society? Because I could always hold a job, but I just fucking hated jobs like that. And, yeah, it's very exciting to be on this path. That sounds like a very cool day. I know you said that it's not like other shows, maybe. Has there been like a change from when from season 1, the way that you guys operated, to now, because you're so comfortable and everyone kind of knows their job and what needs to get done? Was it like a little more strict in the beginning?
no, I think one of the reasons we have managed to be so successful kind of quickly in the beginning is that the room really gelled so quickly. Like we've had the same hours every season. Our room hasn't changed that much. We've lost 2 writers over the course of the seasons, but it's I think we all get along. I think we like each other. People like their family. Our showrunners like their families, which is a key thing to having good hours, because they want to get home and spend time with their kids versus like making us stay here till midnight and sitting around.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's a lot of respect for each other and our skills and jokes. And I think we're all aware of how fortunate we are to be working on this show and how having it be well received. So no one takes it for granted.
Yeah, for sure. And then I think we might have touched on this last time, but are you actively shooting while you're still writing? Like, are you shooting the first half of the season while you're still writing the second half of the season?
Yeah, the writers, we get a head start. We start like 2 months before we start production. So we try to get about 7 episodes written before we start filming.
Okay.
So right now, like today, we spent this morning rewriting episode, I want to say 5:15. We're in a production hiatus this week, but next week they'll start filming, I think 5:13. And then so we're a few weeks ahead. The episode I wrote, that was kind of a really quick turnaround because we filmed it last month and then it aired yesterday. So that is not usually quite so close to one another, but usually a couple months out.
Yeah, wow, that is a quick turnaround considering post and everything. So how does, and I don't know if you can totally answer this, but how does Quinta do production weeks while you guys are you actively writing while she's off filming? And then she just stops into the room and is like, how's it going? What are we doing?
Yeah, she usually anything we come up with, she kind of gets final approval or final look at it. So at the end of the day, all the stuff is sent to her. And while she is down on set, she looks it over and approves or gives her notes or weighs in. And then the next day we go forward with what she has told us. So it's a
Got it.
lot.
Got
She
it.
is always kind of working. I don't want to be her.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, very, very busy, a lot on her plate. But I mean, fucking five seasons in, and you guys are one of the best shows on television, so it's obviously working. Um, cool. And then, kind of, what's next for you? Like I know you said you still have a movie that you want to write, and you're kind of outlining a pilot, but obviously, Abbott's gonna go 17 seasons, like Always Sunny. So after that, which whatever year that is, 2039 or whatever, what do you think you'll be doing? Or what's in the cards? Like, so you still have an interest in film. Do you have any interest in like in directing a film that you wrote, or are you like, no, I'm a writer?
Well, that is one of the things I've learned these 5 seasons that I absolutely do not want to direct anything. So
Got it.
that, and
Yeah.
I've learned that is not where I want to be. So, but I
Yeah.
do think in the future I would love to have my own. I want to produce, like I'll write and produce, and I can't wait till I'm able to help other people bring their projects to fruition without having to actually write.
Yeah.
That'll that's truly the goal, or just to have my own production company and churning out films and TV from other underrepresented people, hopefully. But
Yeah.
that's very far down the line. But until then,
Yeah.
like hopefully just finding an idea that I love that I would want to turn into my own TV show one day, and just writing these movies and actually making them good. That's the
Yeah.
closest goal I have.
I share that goal, actually, trying to write movies and make them good. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's at the top of my list. No, that's cool. I love that, and I love the production company idea of it all. That's my end goal too. And just thinking about getting material as a producer that you didn't have anything to do with, and just being like, holy fucking shit, I want to be a part of this. This is going to be so good. That's really cool, and I love that. Because I can't remember for sure. I should have listened to our old episode first, but I want to say that at that time you maybe did mention showrunner aspirations, and now those have kind of pulled back. And it's just interesting to see because, and I'm not knocking you. I think that's the reality of being so up close to the process and realizing like, oh, maybe that's not something that I want. Because like, I do direct, but I have plenty of friends who are like, oh no, I have zero interest in that. And I always think it's crazy because I'm like, aren't you like, and this is a question for you too, aren't you like watching the movie in your head as you're writing it? There's no part of you that wants to take those reins over. And like, yeah, a lot of them are like, not really. Like, I'm seeing it in my head as I'm writing it for sure, but like, I just don't have an interest in doing that. I'm like, all right, I guess I'm just a psycho.
I think if it were truly just that simple to show up on set and be like, and this is the vision I have, and this is
Okay,
going to come
fair,
out. But
fair,
like,
fair.
it's so much other stuff you have to deal with. I'm like, you know
Yeah.
what? I love being in, producer's village with my headphones on and no one's talking to me. So that's like,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's a very fair point too. And producing, I mean, yeah, you're not directing, but it is a much more hands-on approach than just being the writer. In fact, sometimes writers get screwed a little bit because it's the producers and directors baby now at that point after you sell it. Which I have friends who've had stories like that. That gosh, I just feel so bad whenever a thing doesn't turn out the way that they wrote it, and it happens all the fucking time. It's a reality of the business, but like it's never any less heartbreaking to hear a story like that and being like,
yeah.
geez, like because I've had writers too tell me what their original vision was and the ways that it changed, and I'm like, dude, yours sounds so much better than what we got. But and now I'm gonna name all of them. No, I'm just kidding. But okay, cool. I think we are winding down here. Yeah, we are. So I asked you this last time. I'm curious what it is 2.5 years later. What are a few words of advice that you would give to your fellow screenwriters out there, especially to those just getting started?
I apologize if I'm repeating the exact same advice,
That's
but
okay.
that's why it's
I'll
that
delete our old
powerful.
episode.
No.
Yeah.
But I think the easiest thing to do that is so helpful and within your control is to read scripts. Get
Yeah.
your hands on any script you can find. They're on the internet. They're
Mhm.
just Google whatever you're looking for, PDF, usually will pop up.
Mhm.
I think just learning to read good scripts, bad scripts, it's so helpful in your own writing.
Yep.
if you want to be a TV writer, watch TV. If you want to write movies, watch movies. I've encountered so many people who are somehow TV snobs but want to write TV, and I'm like, I don't know how that's gonna work out for you. But
yeah, I know it's weird. I know
Yeah.
I've met that in movie people too, where I'm
Mhm.
like, it doesn't seem like you're watching that much, you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
And have patience. The people will tell you that it's going to take a long time, and everyone thinks they're like, not me, I'm special.
mhm.
It might be you. So just, keep persisting. It can take a while. It is a lot of hard work, but hopefully you will get your shot, and you just need to be ready for it. So keep writing as well.
Mhm.
Also, a thing I encounter, people want to be writers, they don't write. And I used to be
Yeah.
that person,
Mhm.
and I would, like tinker every few weeks and be like, I'm a writer. But it wasn't
Yeah.
until I 2020 forced me to sit down and write. But once I actually started writing and showing people my work, that's when I actually went places with my career. So write, read, and be ready.
100%. Yeah, you have to stock the well for when your chance does come. And also it gets harder to write those dream projects if you are lucky enough to get into the actual professional space. It gets harder to do that. So do them now. Write a few things. Write some pilots. Write features. Whatever your thing is. You said you were in year 10 whenever this opportunity came along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I feel like that's kind of a fast track. I feel like things happen quickly for you. I mean, not super quick, obviously.
Yeah.
That's putting in your 10,000 hours. But for me, I'm in year 8, coming up on year 9, and I'm still I'm like knocking on the door now, and some things are starting to feel real. But even for me, like friends I talk to, they think I was on a real fast track. So you're right. It takes a while. Don't let it discourage you though, because there's going to be little wins along the way as well that are going to keep you going and motivated. But yeah, it's just hard. It's really hard to get into this, but if you do, it's such a cool life where you can, work on ABBOTT Elementary and have a cool job.
Yeah, and I think just I think the things that are broadcast for people's success, when you hear like the 26-year-old who got stabbed in this new show or sold their show, and like you are going to hear more about that, but that is such a rarity. It's more people who have been plugging away for years and years who are finally getting their shot versus these, one-hit wonders. But So, don't get discouraged by what you see on Twitter, or people who lie about their accomplishments, to be honest. So just
that shit happens.
Keep your perspective and what you want to happen. Don't get derailed by other people.
Yeah. I've seen one or two people's tweets get debunked in a very embarrassing and public way. And so that shit happens. But yeah, totally agree. Amazing advice. Amazing getting to talk to you again, Joya. This was so cool.
Too.
I wish you guys all the continued success, even though you don't need it. And I can't wait. Maybe I'll bring you back for round 3 in like 2.5 more years, and you'll be show running your pilot.
I'll be completely gray.
Yeah, well, welcome to the club.
The Social Screenwriters Podcast. The Social